Hello everyone, this is Plabani. Today I'm back with new video where we are going to talk about how we can identify a duplicate records using PySpark. So you will understand why ETL automation testing is so important and why we should know the Python and upgrade ourselves so that we can achieve all our validation, ETL validation through this framework. So now today I'm going to identify or I'm going to write a framework how we can identify the duplicate records. So sometimes what happen, you have a file and from the file you need to identify the duplicate records. It's not a table. If it is table, we will be writing some SQL query and verify. But there is a situation where you will have a file, which is a CSV file, JSON file, Parquet file, any file, and you need to identify the duplicate records from the file. Now, how we can do that through a PySpark as part of our ETL automation testing, which we are going to see today. Don't worry about the code. Code I'll be putting inside the comment so that you can use it. In my previous video, I've already communicated that we are using Google Colab for a reference for an editor. So that is an open source editor we will be getting in the Google. You can refer my previous video how to use this Google Colab. Next things, I am taking a CSV file and how to upload the files in Colab, that also I've communicated in my previous video. So just click here and select the file from your local desktop. So I've uploaded the file here. Now in PySpark, first thing is we should import few important functions. What are the important functions? We are taking PySpark SQL import Spark session. Now you must have that question like how to install PySpark. That also I've communicated in my previous video. It is just simple pip install PySpark. You can write that command. You will get it in the Google as well to identify that command. Once you install that, under this PySpark SQL, this is a module. Under that, you will get the different functions. So we need to install these functions to identify the duplicate records. Now, first thing in the Spark, we have to create a Spark session. So that also I've explained in my previous video. All your PySpark code, first step will be to create a Spark session. And how to create a Spark session? You have already imported the Spark session builder and give the app name. So app name can be anything. It's not mandatory that you have to add the app name as duplicate records only. Whatever you want, you can give that. That would be your Spark session app name. Now we are uploading the file. For that, we are doing the read function. So read is read the file. So I'm reading the file from my local device. So I'm reading the file. So you can read this file. These also have communicated in my previous video. So you have to use spark.read. Read is a function. I'm keeping the header as a true and schema as a true and then read the CSV file. What is your file name? That file name you are going to put here. If you have any questions on path, you can come here and copy the path and you can put the path here. Then you can print the data. So these all data I am putting inside this data frame. So df.show will display all the records from this data frame. Now we are going to identify the duplicates record. So in SQL, we use group by, count star group by, right? Here we are using df.groupby. Group by of what? Employee ID. I wanted to identify the duplicates employee ID and give that name as a record count and display wherever the record count greater than 1. So my here is if employee ID is more than 1, display those employee ID. So for that, we use a command like this. You will be using group by and then employee ID, count star. Alias is optional. Then filter, you need to use a filter command. Okay, it is nothing but the having column in our SQL. In SQL, we use having, here we use the filter command, greater than 1. Now it will display your duplicate records. Now I wanted to print all the records for the duplicate. So you can use the inner join. So what I am doing here, df.join function. Now this duplicate df. From here we will get all the employee IDs and then inner. So what it will do, it will display all the records from the table. Now if I just execute this, Spark stop is optional. If you want, you can use it. It will stop your Spark session. But this is an optional. And this will display the duplicate counts of your record. Okay. So main thing is we are first reading the file, then identifying the duplicates. After that, we are displaying all the record for the duplicate employee ID. And then we are counting the records, duplicates record. How many duplicate records are there? Spark.stop is the optional one. It is not mandatory. Okay. So this is how you will be creating a framework. Once I execute this, you can see here, this is the data set. Okay. Employee data like source CSV, which is converted to the data frame. This is nothing but a table. Here, if you see 101 and 102 is the duplicate for me. These two is the duplicate records. So if you see, that is what it is displaying here. It is counting the duplicate. That employee ID 101 has 2 times, 102 has 2 times. Now complete records. So it is displaying our complete records, which is complete records of duplicate. And total record, total how many duplicates we have? Only 2, because 101 has 2 times, 102 has 2 times. So total 2 employee IDs which is duplicated. So it is so easy. With this, you will able to identify. Suppose you have a millions of the file, right? Files has the millions of the data. Now you cannot manually identify the duplicates. With this kind of framework, you will able to easily identify the duplicate records. That is why it's very important for everyone to learn our ETL automation testing. So everyone, please go through this code and let me know if you have any doubt. You can reach out to me to my email ID, which is plabani52@gmail.com with your any clarification. Thank you so much. Have a good learning. We'll come back with the next video shortly.